Hey, and welcome to Doc Rides. We're going to take the DRZ out for a little ride, and it's not the Goldwing. It's certainly not as comfortable as the Goldwing, but I thought it's a bike worth talking about. Yeah, let's go for a spin. Oh, this is a funny motorcycle. I got it back when I think it was right after my dad died. So like in the winter of 2018, 2019. And he and I had been on this big kick of looking at motorcycles and trying to decide what the best of, I don't know, like when you know, he was on chemo and everything else. And you don't have a ton of energy to actually go out and ride and whatnot, but we watched a lot of YouTube videos, and one of the things we talked about was what's the best bike in each class, and if you could have anything in the world, what would you get? And in terms of a dual sport bike, this was the one that came up the most. Neither one of us were really into like touring and that kind of thing, but we both loved riding dirt bikes on the trails around his cottage at the time, he and Mom's cottage. And I don't know, this, like, dirt bikes, kind of how I grew up was a very dirt bike and guitar heavy upbringing. Between those and BB guns, that was pretty much my entire childhood. The question is this a good bike? And, you know, what are the pros and cons of it? And I don't even know what year this is. I think it's a 2002 or 2003. They haven't changed at all. And you can see on the odometer there, it's got 2,400 kilometers on it. That's it. So it's I mean, it's not gotten a lot of use. I might put maybe 250 kilometers a year on it. Let's get to the downsides, having said that. So I don't ride it a whole lot, because realistically I don't ride on the dirt very much. We're gonna go look. There's a trail back here that I know about. I met some kids and they told me there was a trail back here. I'm not going to do a big trail ride tonight, but I thought I might try and find it. Yeah, so one of the things, I did a little short video about this bike. I was going to ride it all the way up to Miramichi, and I actually chickened out. We didn't have great weather, and I had to, well, it wasn't so much chickening out. I had to tow a bunch of furniture up, so I had to take the truck. But I was kind of looking forward to the trip, but part of me was dreading it because the seat on this is so narrow and so uncomfortable. After like half an hour of riding, I feel like my taint falls asleep. Like I get pins and needles in my crotch. Now, I'm probably a little heavy to be on this kind of a bike. I'm like 240 pounds. We'll go up here first, and then I'll take it down this trail over here. Ooh, there's a little trail. Okay, let's see what happens here. I'll try not to dump the damn thing. That's kind of cool. Hopefully nobody comes the other way, though. I'm gonna go down into first. It's a little easier to control. Sorry, buddy. For this kind of thing, obviously, I'm not going to do it on a Goldwing. So yeah, it's got a purpose here, but I'm not riding it a whole lot, and this is a carbureted bike. Oh yeah, right. Here it is. And almost every year, I have trouble getting the damn thing started again. So, I don't know, putting it away, digging it out, trying to get it started, cleaning the carburetor or having it cleaned. The last time, so I didn't ride it for 2 years last time. I just didn't have a chance. And I don't know how hairy this trail is. It might be a little hairy. Oh yeah. Holy moly. There we go. But I don't know, it just like, I just dreaded taking it in to get it fixed and get it started and all that stuff. So here I'm wearing like my street helmet. I did not mean to get into all this. You hear me getting out of breath here in a second. There's some pretty big rocks and roots here. Still have my blinker on, very professional. I hope this comes out somewhere manageable. Oh, good grief. Get wet or fall over. Let's go this way. Try and split the difference. Don't fall in the big rut. There we go. Holy moly. Kind of an intense... So, holy shit. Sorry. I told Chrissy I'd be back in 15 minutes. That's starting to seem unlikely. I also gotta lift my visor. Fogging up. Holy moly. Keep going or turn around? Probably, in the interest of not getting a divorce, turning around would be the smart thing to do. I think I've had to go up, and I had to turn around last time I was up here. I'm stupid, I haven't been on these trails in about 4 years, and I can't remember which ones go where. So yeah, for this stuff, it's okay. You know, it's certainly better than a road bike. The carburetor issue is a pain in the ass, but I gotta say, I've had other dirt bikes that are much worse than this with the carbs and stuff. I know I should be on my pegs, but I keep having to put my foot down. I'm really not good at this anymore. I used to be quite adept. There's a nice rooster tail of dirt. So the carb is definitely, like, if I were getting a new bike, if I was going to put the budget in, the reason I really got this one, Dad and I had decided it was a great all-arounder, light enough to do this shit on, but quick enough to go on the highway. So if I were getting a new one, I'd get something else because of the carb. But to be honest, if you can get a good deal on one, like I think I paid $2,000 for this. If you can get a good deal like that, go for it. And then when it gets scratched up or nicked or dinged or whatever, it doesn't freak you out. This freaks me out a little bit. Let's gotta pick my line here. Got in over my head for sure. Just cruise down this. Do you guys ever do this? Get in way over your head on this shit. Back brake, for those of you who don't do a lot of dirt riding, is a absolute lifesaver. All right, there we go. And he lives. Just gotta watch the terrain. I don't want to get going too fast. I think there was another trail over on this side. I can see it, but again, I gotta get home. It's actually my birthday party tonight. So I think sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. Doing the not as fun thing but not getting divorced is ultimately the more fun thing. All the Zen learnings you pick up as you get older. I see I've managed to accidentally throw this bike into neutral as well. That's pretty cool. Jeez, this place is awesome. And there's actually more to it down that way too, but we're just gonna head back down to the Comox station here and down this little side road. My friend lives on this road. So yeah, a little accidental off-road adventure there for you. I meant to do some light, very light trail riding and ended up rocking and rooting. Yeah, I'm the worst storyteller on the planet, I realize, because I keep losing my train of thought. What would I get now if I was getting one of these? Shit, I don't know. I haven't really looked at the market lately. I kind of have this, and it does it to a good enough extent that for 250 kilometers a year and 2,000 bucks, I'm not going to spend any more than that, really. So, yeah, that's where we sit currently with this bike. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this DRZ400. It's a fucking slow bike. And that's not a bad thing. It's geared, obviously, for doing what I was just doing, which is like off-road crawling, basically, like rock crawling. First gear, you can put your foot down without breaking your ankle kind of thing. You don't get in over your head. That's not a bad thing, you know what I mean? But on the highway, and now, I don't know if you saw the knobby tires I have on this thing. They're technically DOT approved. I feel like they slipped through some kind of loophole. They're off-road tires, for sure. On the highway, this is not a stable platform. It does this a lot. Like, at 110 kilometers an hour, 120 even. Maxes out with me on it around 125. And, I think if you weren't fat, you'd probably get 130 out of it, but you don't want to. I'm telling you, with these tires anyway, you don't want to. Now, a lot of people buy the Supermoto version of this, but let me tell you something. Oh, interestingly enough, if you remember the brain experiment I was telling you about, that's the house and the barn where the brain experiment happened. If the Supermoto version of this, I don't know what the horsepower rating on this is. I'd be surprised if it's 30. It's not a powerful bike, and people do stunts on it and stuff, and I guess there's a role for it, but you know, everybody does something called a 3x3 mod where they cut the airbox bigger and all that stuff. I've never done anything, because like, to me, reliability over everything else, like fun, power, everything else, because I just need the damn thing to work when I have a chance to ride off-road. And that's sort of what I've done here, and I gotta say, it's worked. Now, I was saying I put it away for 2 years last time, and when I took it out, it would start, but as soon as I put the choke in, it would die. And the reason for that is there are two carburetor jets in the carb on this. One is the choke jet, and one is the normal jet. And the normal jet was clogged, and I could look that up, but I've never actually cleaned the carb on this. So I took it in. It needed an oil change and everything else. I took it into Milligan Cycle in Shediac. Mike Milligan and his business partners are super, super nice guys. So if you're in New Brunswick and you need motorcycle repair stuff done, the only problem is you got to wait a long time to get in. But nonetheless, I took it into them, and they took it apart, and the inside of the carb was all green. So what I'm guessing happened, like, it's not copper, it's not corroded copper. I'm guessing that the thing got, is that a trailer or a driveway? A driveway. The water probably separated out of the gas, and then it probably got algae in it. Does that make sense? Algae without sunlight, green algae? I don't know if that actually does make sense, but it was bright green, almost blue, like maybe cyanobacteria, I don't know. But it was quite a bit of work cleaning it out. Now, I took this in, and my TTR 225, which is, I've left it in Shediac, and Jack's 1979 XR80, and he did all three of them, and all three of them needed a lot of work, and it was like $1,000, totally reasonable guy. And that includes all the oil changes and all the carbs and setting the valves and, you know, like hours and hours of work. So I very much appreciated it. That goes down by the highway. That's kind of a cool ride. This is a nice trail up here. We walk it in the winter. We always do a little Christmas walk up here. It's very pretty. You get the, I think it's called hoarfrost, where it like breaks up the ground. The whole area is absolutely beautiful. Obviously, we're at the Rossay Town Water Tower. I don't know if you're allowed to ride on this trail, but I mean, the chances of the police being here, there's actually some kind of mass shooting or something happening today in New Brunswick. I got an emergency alert about it. I don't want to get filthy. So I gotta get home for birthday dinner. I'm not gonna do it. Call me a wimp. Call me a wimp. I am a wimp. I accept it. I'm driving a Goldwing, for God's sake. I'm an old man. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, well, there's a mass shooting, so the police probably aren't going to be too busy with this. But, I don't know. You know? This bike it's okay, but it's slow. The story. Right, the whole point of this was to tell you the story about Airsoft. So, I've never played Airsoft before, but my son Jack friggin' loves it. He loves the idea of it. Watches YouTube videos. We have, I mean, this is not to get political. We have guns. We go to the range. Like, we shoot a lot of clay. Like, he's a great shotgun shooter, and I've got a clay thrower, and he's been getting quite good at shooting clays, shooting skeet and stuff. And that's just always, I mean, you know, where we live, it's so rural. Not here necessarily, but like where the camp is, that it's just like part of life there, and I love that part of life. I love the outdoor stuff, and we hunt grouse in the winter or in the fall and that kind of thing. Oh man, do we want to explore just to give you the rest of the story? It's hard to tell a story when the road conditions are tough. That's the only thing, but we'll go a little ways. So anyway, he was getting on to his last week of summer vacation, and one night he was really kind of teary, and Chrissy said, "What's wrong?" He said, "There's so much I wanted to do this summer that I didn't do it." She said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, like, I wanted to play in an Airsoft tournament, but I just never got to one, and like, Dad was busy every time there was one, and then I couldn't go with James because we were at the camp, and I felt really bad for him." And so we were in Miramichi, and we looked it up, and there was an Airsoft tournament 2 nights later in Fredericton, and he actually had his Airsoft stuff with him. He'd been like shooting Airsoft targets out in the yard. And I said, "Dude, if they rent equipment, I'll take you," because he needed a face mask and stuff. He didn't have that. And he said, "I wanted to go with my friend James because he knows what he's doing. Will you play with me?" I said, "Jack, I'm not in like great shape or anything. Like, it looks like it's a lot of fun, but I'm also like scared of getting shot." Like, I am a wimp. I don't like pain. So, oh jeez. So he was pretty nervous to go alone. So eventually I said, "Yeah, you know what? I will go with you. If it takes getting shot with a BB to make you happy, I can live with it." Like, they're just plastic BBs, right? So we drove to Fredericton, and the guy was super nice. The guy who runs the paintball field. I can't remember his name. His name's Jack too, I think. I don't want to get soaking wet. I think I can turn around up there. We'll see. Is there like those instant regret videos? It's wet where I thought I could turn around. So we rented the equipment, and there was a birthday party of like 13-year-olds. Jack is 11, turning 12. And so there were 8 people with the birthday party, and there were a bunch of dads, and overall there were 16 people went to this party. It's pretty cool. It smells nice in here. I wish you had smell-o-vision. Flowers and strawberry blossoms and all that stuff. Oh shit. Shit, I'm turning around. This bike handles rocks and stuff so well. Anyway, so we showed up. I put on all the gear. All I had was like work gloves for gloves. Wore a hoodie. Didn't have anything to protect my head, so I wore a knit hat, like a winter hat. And the guy gave me I rented a gun from him. The gun was probably well, it weighed like the same as a gun. Like, it was probably 7 or 8 pounds. And we went through all the rules and stuff, and I had all this gear on, and it was a hot day. And I was like, oh man, I was sweating even before the game started. So he went through the whole laundry list of like things like if somebody loses their goggles in the middle of a game, you shout blind man and everybody takes a knee and puts their gun on safety. Stuff like that. And one of the things he was talking about was like, okay, you know, you're out in the woods. If you see an animal, like a bear or something, call it out and we'll stop the game and everybody kind of reconvene at the safety point. And he said, you know, if you get into hornets or whatever, call it out. And so the game commenced, and I didn't know like how big the field was or anything. We were playing this game where you had to get to this, it's called King of the Hill, and you try to get to this central timer and put the timer on for your team and turn the timer off for the other team. And whoever has the most time at the end of the game wins. That team wins. And like, I'd never done any of this before. So my plan was to go slow and kind of learn from the people around me. And they're like, you know, bushes and tarps and stuff all through the woods. And you can kind of crouch behind them and take cover and hide and sneak up on the place. Because obviously, if you just run right to the thing, you get shot. And then you have to put your hand up and you have to exit the game. There's the highway trail. Oh, we're going to head out, I think. Oh man, just not quite enough power to really lift the front wheel easily. Sorry, I'm just concentrating when it's all rocky like that. There we go. Then I hit one more rock on the way by. Oh, this place is wicked. Okay, I'm just gonna putt along here. So we get in, and I come to the first, like, our plan was to spread out, so there were 8 of us, and we were each gonna fan out, and then, so the side guys would flank the other team, and the middle guys would protect the structure, and the middle 2 people would cover each other and go in and get the timer. Which seemed like a good plan. That was not my plan. I can't take credit for it. And I was a flank guy. But as soon as I came out, like got into the woods, I always assumed you would just wait until you definitely had a target, somebody who wasn't on your team, and then shoot. But these kids were shooting like, I don't know if they were just shooting wildly or they were shooting to cover for one another. I still don't really understand the strategy. But there were like BBs ricocheting through the woods all around me, and I knew they couldn't see me yet because like I couldn't see any of them yet. And it was a pretty, like, the guys got, I don't know, the thing was 10 acres or something, and all I could hear was airsoft guns going off, all in automatic. So I got down on my hands and knees, and I figured I'm gonna army crawl out and around towards the right side, like from which way I'm facing, which I guess was the eastern side of the target area. And so I was crawling and crawling, and then I got pinned down. Somebody was shooting, and they were getting close to me, like they were ranging in on me. I think they heard me crawling or whatever. And so I ducked way down, and I got this bing right on my ass. Now, of course, I'm just in a sweater and jeans, and like low riding jeans, and so when I'm ducked down, the top of my ass crack was out, and I was like, frig, that friggin' hurts. Like, it hurt way more than I was expecting. I lifted up my little orange thing. I was like, hit, then bang, another one right in the ass, and then another one right beside that. I was like, I'm hit, I'm getting up. Then bang, right in the hand, my right hand, even through the glove. I was like, that hurts more than it should. And then bang, 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 my face. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I army crawled into a hornet nest, a ground hornet nest. So I started screaming, hornet, hornet, hornet. At first, nobody believed me. They were like, oh, he's just saying that to get rid of us. And I was like, I just jumped up and I kind of charged out of the woods. Jack got stung. He was next to me. He never complained about it, but it was like a good-sized welt. Overall, I had, I think, 7 bad stings, like face, hand, ass, forearm, side. They got me really good. Anyway, the guy was like, can you come back and show me where the hornets were? The guy who owns the place. I was like, I guess so. I went back in and got stung again in the arm. I was like, listen, man, I'm not doing this anymore. So, but I didn't want to give Jack a bad time, so I didn't tell him how much it hurt. The thing was, it hurt a lot. Like, I'm not a brave man, and I don't handle pain very well, but that was, I mean, I've been stung by one hornet before. I'd never been stung so many times, and man, I was really hurting, and then I got like burning hot and itchy, and I thought, oh shit, maybe I'm allergic to hornets. I don't know, like, it's been so long since I got stung by them. I'm just gonna go explore down to the end of this road. So I played the next 2 games. They played another game of King in the Hill. We lost severely. Like, I think we never even got the timer on our team at all. The other team just absolutely smoked us. Little trailer park in here is actually kind of pretty in here. I don't think they ever filmed the Trailer Park Boys in there, but it is kind of a nice trailer park if you're into that kind of thing. I always said if Chrissy leaves me, I'm just moving to a trailer park. The hell with it. Who's got time? Who's got time to rebuild from scratch? Yeah, so we played 2 more games. By the 3rd game, I had swollen up so much that, like, I couldn't squeeze my hand. It was just like a mass of edema in my hand, and my ass was so swollen I couldn't get my pants up. It was just like, it was super tight where my belt line was. So down there is another pit that's pretty cool, but it says no trespassing, so I think I won't go there tonight. So we stayed. Jack played the last game without me. By then he was pretty comfortable, and he had a great time. I mean, he wants me to buy Airsoft stuff and all that, so it couldn't have made a terrible impression. There are nice walking trails up here, but I can't remember which way to go to get to them. Sometimes little areas like this are so pretty. Oh yeah, there's where the trails start, I think. And there's a lot of people ride mountain bikes up there, but I don't think you're allowed to ride motorcycles up there. Anyway, so all's well that ends well. It was quite an adventure, or a misadventure, and that's pretty much the end of the video for today. I really just wanted to tell you that story about the Airsoft tournament. Some other crazy stuff is happening too, but you know, we'll get to it in the tincture of time. There's no rush. In terms of like how are things going with the Goldwing, I'm going to do an update video. There are a few things I would change about it for sure, but I love it. You know, it's a great bike. Can't really complain. It's probably well, it's definitely the best motorcycle I've ever had. You look at what I'm coming from here. This is an ATV trail, but I do have to get home because she's cooked a birthday dinner for me and they're making cake and all that stuff. So I think we'll leave it at that. But look, it's been a slice, and thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. You know, if you like the videos and subscribe, I think it does help the algorithm, though. I got to admit, I'm never going to make any money off these. Like, I think I have more subscribers than I ever thought I would have doing this kind of content, but it's still not a ton. So, you know, take it for what it is. Would I recommend, if you can get one of these for 2,000 bucks and you have a Goldwing or a road bike and you're just curious about doing a little bit of trail riding? Absolutely. You know what? The thing's a tank. it's been good. Carburetor kind of sucks, but it's better than on most of my bikes. That was the first time I've not been able to do it myself in the spring, getting it started. So, and it's sat for 2 years. I mean, I'm probably asking too much of anything to leave it sitting that long. And yeah, it's not fast, but in defense of slow bikes, sometimes slow is better. Sometimes dead is better. All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.